How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I said I would follow the state of Florida closely for many reasons, and I'll get into that a little later. So we know that coronavirus is one of the many states that have been hit extremely hard by coronavirus. And this is all based, what I'm presenting is based on leadership. And we know that the governor is one of Trump's boys. As Trump snaps his fingers, he's jumping around. So he's going to try to take on the persona of Trump. And he got an excuse, or he gonna blame somebody for what's going down. But what he's really concerned about is money flowing into that state. So they just also been recently hit by a major storm. And so they are in the season of hurricanes. And now can you imagine that mix? You see a picture like this. Let me see, here it is. Where they're getting hit with a hurricane, dealing with that type of destruction. People need help. And when you're rescuing, you're not thinking about coronavirus. Now, these people I know, imagine they're going to come in with masks, but still, they still taking a risk too. Then you get someone to a shelter. You got all these people piled up on top of each other, and compound. So the other states need to take heed of whatever disasters they're dealing with, so they don't get caught ass out. Well, there's another problem that the state of Florida is dealing with: unemployment. And I'll show you in a bit who the governor is going to blame. So let's go on this journey. So this first video is May 19th, showing this particular video for a reason. And let's just hear what is this governor lying about now, because he's been on the hot seat for a good minute lately.
Somebody from March who's gone through, submitted it all, done, they're going to have gotten paid by now.
Now to the latest on the maze that is the state of Florida's unemployment system. As Governor Ron DeSantis addressed today what he says his office has done since First Coast News has been pressing them for answers. The governor continues to say that the Department of Economic Opportunity is working to clean up the mess the old system left behind, while also touting that more has been paid out in the last 10 weeks than in the past 5 years. Just over a month ago, the governor replaced the head of the Department of Economic Opportunity as he worked to get the system back on track. And today, we got some insight into how overloaded the call centers actually are.
Yesterday, we had 1 million phone calls. We've had 15 million phone calls since March 15th. We haven't gotten to most of those. Most of those people are hanging up. It's upsetting to me, as is upsetting to the callers.
All right. That's the end of that. That was short and sweet. Let me take this down. So, they claiming back in mid-May how hard they was working on it. Okay. Now, this was published May 31st. Let's say 15 days later or so. Florida's unemployment still haven't been paid, and they don't think it's their fault. So they don't blame themselves? Well, what other recourse? Who else you want to blame? Oh, I'm going to get there. So, got a video. This is just the faces of many. Published, again, May 31st.
We are much more susceptible to some of the job losses than other states. the state's unemployment system been problematic for years. So you essentially had a faulty system that is now being overwhelmed, and it's some of the stingiest benefits you can get in the country.
That's my livelihood. That's everything. I don't have a savings account, I don't have a cushion.
We all feel it out, and nobody get it. A lot of business like mine, they don't have no help at all.
It's almost like your health and your life or money. It's all in somebody else's hands.
I live paycheck to paycheck. I always sort of thought that was the American way. I instantly was worried about feeding my kids, myself, paying my bills to have a house over my head.
So it says use that word in a sentence.
I know in my heart that if I needed a place to stay, I have family, I have my parents, but I'm a 40-year-old woman. This is my home, I was born to a family of restaurateurs. I always sort of felt like I'm taking care of people, I'm making them smile. And then a human connection. It's a romantic business.
I just remember when I was at your work, I took a bite of that tomato, then I just spit it out.
There was a fresh tomato from the vine too.
Yeah.
The majority of us, this is our careers. I don't want to have to apply for unemployment. I don't like not working.
What's happening in Florida has really captured national attention.
One application center in Miami's Hialeah neighborhood was overwhelmed.
Thousands logged back on yesterday just to find out they've been deemed ineligible.
I'm trying for the past 3 weeks to sign up for unemployment, and I am getting nowhere.
All of our phone lines are busy. Please visit our website, borderjobs.org.
I finally got an application in, and then it disappeared last week. Oh, lo and behold, back to the entry place.
At this point, I am so beyond frustrated. I opened it today, and now I'm inactive. Inactive. This isn't okay. You can't keep treating people this way.
It becomes a job. It becomes a job of feeling like you're just not worthy. Neither of us ever thought of that we would be on unemployment. We got married and bought a house, living within the means of our careers. We were just completely devastated that we have no income, and then I lose my job and my health insurance. For me, having a respiratory issue is just very unsettling.
It's hard to be humble enough to ask for it, and then to have to fight and prove that you actually need it.
And then beg for it. People need help right now. You can't just say, oh, we're gonna investigate it after all of this. That's not paying our bills.
I think the most frustrating part is that there's just no answers. Are you gonna be foreclosing on our house? Are you turning the electric off? What bill do we pay with the limited assistance that we're getting? What are we supposed to plan for?
When I got my first customer, I almost want to hug him, but I can't. We're celebrating when they say open, but it's not the same anymore. It's not the same, totally. My place is a lot of walking. I'm on riding Gold to Bay, so everybody they go to the beach, come on with the way here. Oh, this is so long. But now you have to say, I'm sorry, we can't take you. But I understand for our safe. But it's a little hard. You can't even work together anymore. It's just like two people come and work at a time. So it's just no extra. Whatever we're making is just like you to keeping your business open. It's no more life. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go to the restaurant. Well, we can go to the restaurant. I forget about that. like this. Yeah, you need to. But when you have a business, you have two houses. And everybody know on Florida, rent is not cheap. We are part of the economy. We are little, but we are part of the economy. I know they help a lot of people, but it's a lot of business like mine that don't have no help at all.
I'm nervous and scared. We were the first industry to be shut down. We're the first one to be reopened. I have to pay my bills, you know, so I don't have a choice. This is my job. I'm coming back to work.
All right. One thing that I want to say that I heard somebody say in this video, they have like a sense of shame receiving benefits. We pay into that. Unemployment insurance. Let's keep that on our frontal lobe. All right? We pay into that. And we also pay our taxes. And we pay these people that we elect in office. They are supposed to work for us. They are supposed to keep this system running, keep running, however they're going to do it. You know, they the ones that we put in place, and we see that they don't have a clue. They do not know how to run a damn thing. It sounds good on paper, but when it actually hits, and see, I know what I'm talking about. Me having a construction background and literally having architects, I'm a welder, having architects say, well, why you can't do it, blah, blah, blah. I said, we out in the field. On paper, that's fine. But when you are in the environment, you have to adapt to the environment. And that's where our expertise kick in, that they have taught us in such a way. And then you should have, you should be able to investigate and troubleshoot yourself too and say, I got to find a way too as well. So I don't give no cut to the people that is keeping things running in these states and then literally in these little small towns. That's what we elect them for. So keep that out of your mind. You shamed to get unemployment and you paid in unemployment. That's part of your insurance. That's to ensure that if something go wrong, at least you're getting something coming in. Okay, let's keep on. So now we're getting into today. We're getting into more reality of who is the governor blaming? What does he have to say?
Do you believe that the system was in part put together the way it was to discourage people from being able to collect
I think that was the animating philosophy. I mean, having studied how it was internally constructed, I think the goal was, for whoever designed it, was let's put as many kind of pointless roadblocks along the way so people just say, oh, the hell with it, I'm not going to do that.
You heard it right there. Pointless and purposeful roadblocks between you and your unemployment money. That's from Governor Ron DeSantis, admitting that Florida's unemployment system was built to provide difficulty.
Tonight, NBC2's Claire Lavazorio is talking to one of the thousands of people who haven't received a penny of unemployment. She shares her frustrating story.
This admission by Governor DeSantis is angering one North Fort Myers woman. She's just one of 1.4 million Floridians dealing with this broken unemployment system.
I think the goal was, for whoever designed it, was let's put as many kind of pointless roadblocks along the way so people just say, oh, the hell with it, I'm not going to do that.
Governor Ron DeSantis is acknowledging for the first time ever that Florida's unemployment system is purposely designed to not pay out. That admission angering this North Fort Myers woman to the core.
Livid, actually. I will not be voting for that man.
Heather Walsh applied in April. Now it's August and she's still waiting for help, calling the state 30 times a day, now wanting to give up.
I've wanted to, and I think that's part of what they expected people to do when they put up these roadblocks, is for people to just say, forget it. It's never going to happen. And they give up and walk away.
State Rep Anna Escamani wants to know how the governor plans on fixing it.
He is pointing out the obvious at this point. You know, we have been making it very clear from the beginning of this pandemic that the unemployment system is broken.
As for Walsh, she's not holding her breath for the money, hoping DeSantis will hear her frustration loud and clear.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate all your help. And I hope this never happens to you.
The DeSantis administration is preparing to award a more than $130 million contract to the company responsible for Florida's failing unemployment site. That website will manage the state's Medicaid data. I'm in Lee County. Claire Lavazorio, NBC2.
Okay. So, one thing that Trump does is not to take responsibility for anything. And I'm going to also point out what you are looking at too as well. It's something much more deeper, my royal family. And I'll get into that too. So, we're going to find out who he blaming.
Economic Opportunity says it's processed more than 3.2 million claims for unemployment assistance since mid-March, paying out more than $12.8 billion in benefits. But the process to get that money has been frustrating for many. Governor Ron DeSantis told CBS 4's Jim DeFede that the state's unemployment system was built with, quote, pointless roadblocks to pay out the least number of claims.
Tonight, his comment about the system built under then-Governor Rick Scott is prompting a response from the Republican senator. Jim joins us now with what Senator Scott had to say. Jim?
Elliot, you know, this was a little bit of back and forth between these two men, and what was interesting was just how this is going to play out in the future. But before we get to Rick Scott's comments, let's just take a moment and remind folks exactly what he said, what the governor said, what Governor Ron DeSantis said when I sat down with him on Monday, and I asked him a question about the website that so many people had trouble with being able to get their benefits. Here's what the governor had to say on Monday. Do you believe that the system was in part put together the way it was to discourage people from being able to collect
I think that was the
benefits?
animating philosophy. I mean, having studied how it was internally constructed, I think the goal was, for whoever designed it, was let's put as many kind of pointless roadblocks along the way so people just say, oh, the hell with it, I'm not going to do that. But I think definitely in terms of how it was internally constructed, you know, it was definitely done in a way to lead to the least number of claims being paid out.
Now, of course, this led to a huge kerfuffle because, I mean, just think about it for a second. The governor admitting that the website designed to help people was actually hurting them, was actually keeping people from being able to get access to the money that they desperately needed from the insurance, unemployment insurance that they paid into in the state of Florida. So that's just a terrible thing right there. So the governor, you know, never said that Rick Scott was personally responsible when I asked him. He backed away from that a little bit. He acknowledged that it was under the Scott administration, but wouldn't blame Scott directly. Well, reporters in Washington caught up to Rick Scott today, and he made it clear that he's not happy with whatever the governor said. Let's play that sound now.
It's tough to be you know, in politics, you know, some people, you know, they take responsibility. Some people just blame others. This is a tough time to be a governor. You know, there's no unemployment system in the country. They've set up for this unprecedented number of new people applying for unemployment, then the $600, and then adding the gig workers. And so, you know, I know Ken Lawson was responsible for it when it started, and I know he was working hard.
So, Jim, he said some people blame others, but then he went on to mention Ken Lawson. Remind us about the history between Scott and DeSantis here.
They have never really gotten along. Rick Scott had a different person in mind wanting to run for governor. So these two men have been at odds for a while. There has also been talk that they are somewhat competitive because both may want to run for president or have those presidential aspirations in 2024. I'll tell you that when I asked Governor DeSantis that question, he denied it. But still, the tension between these two men, it's no secret that they don't like each other.
Okay, Jim, so it's clear that the system doesn't work as effectively as it could. It's certainly flawed. No matter who is to blame here, let's look forward. What can be done to fix it? What are lawmakers saying at this point?
Well, there are a number of lawmakers who are suggesting that there should be a special session called to deal with a number of issues regarding unemployment, not just making sure that those who are still owed money because of the problems of the website are made whole, but also raising the amount of money that the state of Florida pays. The state of Florida caps its benefit at $275, and with Congress still deadlocked over whether or not they're going to give $600, you have a lot of people trying to barely, eke out a living at this point on $275 a week at most. You can't live on that in Florida. I don't care where in the state you are. Now, there is one postscript to this story, which is fascinating to me. So over the last couple of days, as we've been focusing on what Governor DeSantis said about the state website, which was implemented, put together by Deloitte and Touche, the accounting company, one of the things that we just learned is that Governor DeSantis, while critical of Deloitte, just is ready to award them a $135 million state contract, a new contract, to basically overhaul and take charge of the state's Medicaid data information website. So that's, there's going to be a lot to sort of suss out with that, because that's a real problem. You already have some lawmakers saying this is crazy, that Deloitte was a problem for the unemployment website. Why would we put them in charge of the Medicaid data information storage as well?
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Jim DeFede, thank you very much.
Well, my radio family, let me take this down so I won't get no pop-ups. So, both of them, all of them, but right now, both of them, and even though Rick Scott did the same thing, are the blame. I don't care if they can't work together. We voted you in, we pay your salary, and both of them, whoever got voted into office in the state of Florida, all those politicians need to work together. And this should be happening throughout the United States. Now, I want to go over what you're looking at. What we are looking at, we're looking at Esau's kingdom literally fall before their eyes. And the system that they put in place is not working in their favor. And we will see more of this in their war, where they will be blaming each other while they watch their kingdom disintegrate before their eyes. This is why it is crucial and necessary. What I'm speaking to you, my royal family, is extremely serious. There is a reason why our Father wants us in. The enemy is having complete meltdowns in the streets of America. Let's say COVID-19 was not in place. When we came out of them 400 years, that was it for them. Everything halt. And now we will eventually see it work in our favor. Everything is a process. So imagine them having meltdowns, all these Karen videos that we seeing. And coronavirus was not in them streets. Well, they like to project their demonic energy on us. Well, coronavirus, we don't want to get it. So we keeping our royal asses in the house. See, there's a lot of deeper things. That's why I tell the royal family, look at things spiritually, my royal family. What is really going on? They're going to be at each other's throats because they know they are doomed. And when an animal is caged and they sense and fear, they are in attack mode. Because you got to realize they are in a state of fear. And they can't stand to see us well or possibly even prospering. But it's a lot of us feeling this too. It's a lot of our folks getting coronavirus too, as well. We all in the mix of this. Trust and believe that. So we are truly watching the enemy at war. And it's going to be nasty. They fight real nasty with each other. you know, and they got their fears too. They want to stay secluded in their neighborhoods that they done made comfortable for themselves. And people are going to continue to be out in the streets of America marching. You know, you got these fools demanding to send these babies to school in this, and they not reassuring you anything. Look at their leadership. He out of his damn mind. So you're going to follow behind that? You have to make your own individual executive decision, my royal family. There's a reason. There is a true reason why we are in these houses. Now, one more thing I want to close out with is I was mentioning Florida's outbreak of coronavirus and also the storms. Let's not lose sight when they had that terrible hurricane that hit the Caribbean and how nasty the governor got down, and because he's very arrogant. And I was saying to myself, well, that region is very prone to hurricanes. You need to be real humble because the possibility it hitting you is damn near 90%. And let's not lose sight that all the hurricanes start from the coast of Africa. So let me show y'all something I forgot to bring up. Let's see here. Something I want to bring up about these hurricanes. Some have seen this and some have not. Let's go over here. I don't know why I keep getting popped up with that. I gotta take that down. Okay, let's go over here. Okay. Let me see if I can show y'all this. So, the true meaning of hurricane, the spirit of the African woman who have been stolen, beaten, raped, murdered, and thrown overboard. The slave ships en route to enslaved lands. This is why all hurricanes start at the same point of exodus of Africa, or Akiba line, the post of the Atlantic slave trade, and hit every spot where slaves were sold all through the Caribbean and American coasts. And there is hurricane. When our ancestors, the few, but that few was quite powerful, were en route wherever they dropped them off, they were casting prayers because they could feel being empathic in their bones. They was going someplace that they didn't know nothing about, and they feared, and they could also smell because the enemy had a certain smell, and they knew that they were evil, that they were about to project evil on them. So it's something to think about, my royal family. These things are real. Some people take these things like, oh, you just talking foolish, true royal. I know some people have even wrote it down. They laugh at me when I tell them I have visions and different things. I've talked to many people behind the scenes that speak the way that I do. So I don't care because I know what space and time we are in. And hurricane is not to be played with at all. I'm speaking directly to the enemy and the enemy's supporter. So keep fucking around. Keep taking this a pure joke. Coronavirus will knock you on your ass. I've been saying day one from the first channel that I had and this channel and the True Royal channel that I have. Something big is about to go down. And I've been saying it's going to make everyone totally submit. Now, not everyone has totally submit, So if you don't submit totally like our Father is putting out, you will fail. Trust and believe. When True Royal tell you something, I ain't playing around. I'm very dead serious about the things that I talk about. I take this to heart. I have the utmost respect for Yah. I don't play with Yah at all. So I'll leave it right there, my royal family. Rendered your voice with your beautiful divine words. And it's always my royal family. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.